Hi there, every pony, Brodies and Pegasisters of all ages. Welcome to Like a Ditzy Do, first episode of our second year. I am your host, the Nate Damn Z, and I am all spiffied up because this is going to be my first official review of an expansion set. And I'm going to say that the fact that I keep doing videos about Marks in Time so late after its release date fits into the set's time travel theme. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, before we get into the thick of things, just something of a disclaimer that I just want you guys to be aware of, that this is not going to be the most logical, in-depth, or analytical of reviews. I don't have the brain patterns way of thinking for that. I decided I wanted to do this video anyway because I have a lot to say about Marks in Time that doing 140 characters at a time randomly on Twitter just doesn't feel like it's going to cut it. Now, in terms of format, I figure the best way to go about this is to take each one of the card types and do a segment of various lengths and talk about either what Marks in Time brought to the table or how Marks in Time may have affected that type of card going forward or whatever. And I can bet you guys already know which two categories I have the most to say about. So let's get right to it, starting with Alright, so MIT gave us 4 new mains, individual mains for the Cutie Mark Crusaders, and then of course the Queen of Time Travel Shenanigans herself, Starlight Glimmer. First, I just want to say that I am kind of disappointed that we didn't get a new pink or yellow main, if for no other reason that until now every color had the same amount of mains in the Odysseys block. Not a huge deal, just sort of a, aww. I imagine this is something that can easily be fixed in set 8. Now with that out of the way, we did get some pretty good mains here. 2 are really great, while the other 2 are not quite as impressive, but still solid. And since they all flip the exact same way, we can just skip right to the good stuff. On the really great side, we have Apple Bloom and Scootaloo, both of whom are pretty much perfect examples of what their colors are all about. Apple Bloom can cause mass exhaustion, which will help her orange minions overpower your opponent, while Scootaloo grants you 2 free movements at the end of your turn. You have to exhaust the characters before you move them, but like I said, it's at the end of your turn. And the first thing you do at the start of a turn is ready, so it's practically a non-issue. Just be aware that your opponent could start a face-off in between. Sadly, Sweetie Belle isn't as awesome as her fellow Crusaders. She's not bad by any means, but after the other 2 set such a high bar, it's almost heartbreaking that Sweetie Belle can't quite reach it. She lets you get a resource out of the discard pile at the end of each turn. That's pretty good considering the sheer number of resource dismissal cards there are now. But from what I understand, those cards don't see a lot of play because resources aren't as much as a concern as, say, events, troublemakers, or friends. And even if I'm wrong and resources get dismissed like they're going out of style, this probably isn't an ability you can use every turn. Plus, it's only going into your hand. You still need to pay action tokens and meet color requirements to get the card back into play. Granted, just getting a resource back for free would be broken as all get out, so I get why she doesn't do anything crazy like that. Again, she's not bad by any means, but I still feel like Sweetie Belle needs something, because right now, it feels like the other Crusaders are leaving her behind. And now we get to Starlight Glimmer, who is just good. Perfectly solid. Not bad or terrible, but I don't think we'll see her sweeping the Nationals anytime soon. What Starlight does is, the turn she flips, she gives you a second ready phase. That's it. So you get an extra draw, get some action tokens to hoard, and ready any pony who may be exhausted. And that's it. After that, she's basically just her 3 power and gives you the standard home limit of 4. Her game text even specifies that you get the extra ready phase once. So if she gets hit with a backup vocals or a biff or the like, don't think you'll get some more action tokens out of the deal. All of that said though, I really like her. Drawing cards and more action tokens is always a good thing. And getting to ready your friends for basically free can be a lifesaver if you think your opponent's going to start a face-off before your next turn. And since she has a fairly easy flip condition, you can basically trigger her ability when you think it will do you the most good. She is the ultra rare main for the set, so of the four, she's going to be the trickiest to get a hold of, but at least give her a look. Like I said, I don't think she'll see a lot of competitive play, but she's great for casual, which is basically my job. Okay, no more bait and switch. We all know that I'm not going to be talking about friends so much as the new cutie mark mechanic, which I really like so far. First of all the Philly friends who have it are an even action token to power ratio. If it costs you 2 to play, you get 2 for your money. And that's good. That's the advice every beginner advice blog I've read on this game gives. The one exception I found is little Rah-Rah here, who costs 2 but gives you 4. I'm okay with that, even with the penalty the card has. In fact, I think I just came up with my next episode. Anyway, then cutie marks happen. For 2 action tokens, you get to boost the cards by 1 power and trigger a second effect. Going by the Rah-Rah example, her penalty goes away. But there's different effects, from frightening friends to putting tokens into play to dismissal or gaining keywords. Combine that with other friends who play off of the mechanic, and I feel like it's a really solid addition to the game that's fun to build around. I wonder if we'll see it again outside of this set. So if you think I tend to be too positive in my videos, good news! I'm really disappointed with the resources in this set. It's not that I think most of them are bad, just mishandled. First, let's talk about the dilemmas. I don't know how I feel about dilemmas. It's an interesting idea, additional problems that you play from your hand, and all of the effects are great, from token generation to taking control of an opponent's discarded friend. Holy crap. All 6 of them have really great effects that are really worth considering. What makes me question them is, well, you are literally giving yourself more problems to solve. More places on the field you need to be aware of, possibly diverting your assets from where they would be better focused. And while granted only you can take advantage of the dilemma's ability, each one is still another opportunity for your opponent to score points from under you. It just seems really risky to me. But back on one of the other hooves, to quote one of my Twitter followers, "But that pink problem though!" I will definitely be experimenting with Nightmare Scenario and Invasion of the Changelings at the very least, so we'll see how that goes. But here is where I feel resources got mishandled. Aside from the dilemmas, which are all commons, there are only 2 other resources that are not rare or higher. They are both darn good cards, but it just bugs me that they're the only ones. I feel like the options were deliberately limited so that the new hotness could be shown off. Again, I know that's not the case, and most of the resources introduced in the set are awesome. It just bothers me. Oh, and it also kind of irritates me that when put in a binder numerically with the other resources, the dilemmas get split up. But I know that's just me being crazy. Hey, I told you this review wasn't going to be logical. Alright, the next few chunks will probably go by much quicker as there are no more literally game-changing cards to talk about. Again, not meaning this as a slight, as in my opinion, all of the events in MIT are pretty great. They run the whole spectrum of, that's worth considering, to, holy heck, how did they think that was a good idea? And like resources, there aren't as many in this set, so there's literally less to talk about. But yeah, A+ on the events. Probably the first set I'll check when deck building from now on. Speaking of being similar to resources, again, we only get 2 troublemakers that are common and uncommon, and it inexplicably bothers me. But in any case, both Discord and Sombra are worth considering. Discord can help get rid of those pesky +1 counters without the worry of giving your opponent a point. Sombra could eventually give a point, but until he does, he'll be giving you action tokens each turn. So that seems fair to me. The only one of the MIT troublemakers I don't like is Triac, Destroyer of Worlds. And once again, it's not that I think he's a bad card, he just seems overly complicated to me. But I'm sure he has his uses. Nightmare Moon and Queen Chrysalis are great on their own, but work even better when you pair them with their mains or matching... Oh my goodness. Okay, so I literally just got that all of these troublemakers are each based on one of the alternate realities from the MLP Season 5 finale. I can totally forgive that there's only 5 now. Wow, 5 troublemakers? That seems like such a low number. Oh well, there's literally nothing else to say about troublemakers from this set. I've totally talked about all of them. Oh boy, I have never been happier to have so many problems. This is probably my favorite batch of cards from this set. I wouldn't say all of them are good like I did with events, but the ones that I like, I really, really like. I'm especially glad we got more of those 3/3 2-color problems, as most of those have been exactly what I need for those deck types when I build them. There's even a couple of 4/4s that I really like. If anything, some of these problems are too good, to the point where I am tempted to put them in all of my decks that even have the slightest bit of the required colors. So when all is said and done, if I had to put a number to how I feel about Marks in Time as an expansion overall, I'd say 8.5 out of 10. In all honesty, I think the smaller segments of each card type really helped, really concentrated what they were able and wanted to do, because just, again, since there are fewer resources, fewer events, fewer troublemakers, there's just by math, there are less bad ones, and the good ones stand out better. And I know when I talked about friends, I only really talked about the cutie marking mechanic, but there are a lot of solid friends introduced in the set that have nothing to do with cutie marking. For example, the best pet cycle that was introduced as color entry. Now, another part of why I love the set so much, and this is why I made a point of putting a disclaimer in the beginning and mentioning it several times throughout, is that this set kind of has positive associations with me. It just makes me feel good overall. Because for the very first time, I got to feel like I was part of the initial excitement of the set. I did a new video about it. I will add annotations and links and whatnot. But Interplay did a thing where you could order the pre-release kits to your home for this set if certain circumstances were met. From day one of getting cards for this set, my collection is nearly complete. I just need to track down rares and foils. From day one. So there's that, but then, I'm looking at the cards, I'm reading the ones I haven't read on the spoilers, and I have all this positive energy going around with me alone, to a lesser extent my roommate, because, he watches the show, he gets excited when I pull a Sassy Saddles or a Doctor Who's, even if he doesn't know what the card does. But then I went onto social media, and I just see everybody just freaking out and talking about their tournaments and how they distributed the ultra rares that they got when they went to actual events in the stores, and people on Twitter were asking me about the set because they hadn't been able to go, and it was just, for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was part of a community. And for the first time since this game started, I felt like I was part of the opening ceremonies. So yes, objectively as I personally can be, with just not being a tactical expert or anything, I feel that Marks in Time was a fantastic set. Maybe not the best that's ever come out, that probably still goes to Absolute Discord or Equestrian Odysseys, but on a personal level, and for all the reasons that I just went into, as of right now, as of this recording, it is by far my favorite set. Which, considering how much I love most of the previous sets, is really saying something. But, I have been rambling on for way too long. What about you folks? Do you love Marks in Time? Do you hate it? What do you think of my new outfit? Eh? Eh? Please leave your comments below, or follow me on Twitter or anything. Just keep the good vibes from this set coming. And until next time, I am the Nate Damn Z, and I'm gonna go strut like a Ditzy do. And I even brought the ponies out. And, I'm saving this for a blooper reel. I got these off my shelf because I wanted to have them in the shot when I was talking about their manes. And I completely forgot about them. They were sitting next to me the whole time. And I didn't print them out. I'm bad at this. Anyway, I'm going to reach across, get my binder, and pull some cards out of sleeves. Pages.